on Twitch that the pre-stream is over and that the actual stream has begun. Maybe. What are you doing, Twitch? Can you folks let me know if you're seeing my stream? Because I do a pre-stream with a little bit of a like the Delver splash screen to keep just to let the stream let folks join the stream and then like it started properly at noon. I just need to get confirmation from you folks so you can actually see what I'm doing. Cool. So Dr. Kegel is confirming that I am in fact streaming. So that's good. Let me just get latest on GitHub. I do work on 2 different machines, so that's why sometimes I'm out of sync on this particular machine. Okay, so let's get started. So hi, I'm Joshua. I am one half of Delver. And if you guys, so let me start. I'm Joshua. Today is October 9th, 2016. I'm working on a game called Delver, which I'm one half of. There we go. So Delver it's a video game. It's an independently made video game, as in we have no funding and no budget, and we do this in our spare time. But it's a passion project. We love to work on the game. It's an early access on Steam, so if that's something you're interested in, great. It supports us. If not, you can wait for us to release, which will hopefully be sometime next year. Um, I'm making efforts into keeping us better organized as far as organizing milestones and putting features underneath the milestones and pushing us towards getting a full 1.0 release. So yeah, so that's who I am. That's what I'm working on. Let's take a look at the work that has happened between last week and today. And I actually remembered today to go into my repositories directory before trying to do my little cheat here as a git log one line. Use the relative date a week ago, and I used some pretty printing just to make it a little bit more easier to kind of parse what's going on. So hey folks in chat. There's lots of folks here today. There's about 9 starting off the bat, so that's really cool. It looks like 109 Thanos says kind of right here, haha. Hi Thanos, thank you for stopping by. Hi, my name is Matt. Hello, thank you for joining me on my development stream. I appreciate Dr. Kegel. Dr. Kegel is a good regular. He shows up fairly often, which is very motivating. Dr. Kegel also asks, I thought there was also a music guy. So sort of. In the beginning, White Wolf has helped us out, but White Wolf is no longer able to help out on the project. And then we have a guy by the name of Nathan who's also helping out with, I believe Nathan. I'm so sorry. I keep meaning to look him up. It's just that Chad is the one who works with him. So I'm pretty sure it's Nathan, and he makes excellent music as well. But again, it's not on a full-time regular basis. It's just as we need new tracks. Okay. So we also do contract work as well. What do you think? There is Sam, who did some promotional artwork for us. He is an excellent illustrator, and I appreciate all the work he's done for us. He's done it all for free, which is amazing, and we need to compensate him somehow. I'll figure that out in the future. There's also an excellent pixel artist and animator named Hunter, who has also helped us out with basically in animation, like I do the roughs and he smooths it out, makes it look so good. So I appreciate all of Hunter's work. Um, and we also contract through Power Up Audio for a lot of our effects. They are fantastic. They do great work and they're fast and they are good. Hopefully I'm still streaming. Let me refresh real quick. It looks like I'm off. Am I offline? Oh no. Yeah, 'cause it looks like I'm fine. Weird. Um, I won't rely on my video preview. Um, so it looks like One Night Shot One says I bought Delaware a couple days ago and I really love it. I must say, thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Yeah. Thank you. It means a lot. I know it's a small little game, but it's really something we love, and we're pouring like whatever free time we have. So for me, I no longer have a day job. I am a stay-at-home father. So when I'm not busy being a parent, I spend all my or the most of my free time working on Delver. So if I'm not doing family time, I'm usually working on Delver. 'Cause I don't know, it's my favorite thing right now. And Widow Nine Thanos says he also, or they also, excuse me, agree that they bought it a few days ago and they like it. So that's always great to hear. So this is a place where you get to see me work, and you also get to ask me questions about the project. And yeah, so this is I guess I'm on point, even though you can't see there, there. This is a terminal window, and I've gone to my repository with all the source code, and I'm just doing basically this is a log of the things that happened last week. So I actually got that last week I was working on an explosion effect. So I threw that old effect away. I created a brand new one. I used basically I studied how a few folks had done theirs. A lot. I really like the explosions of Nuclear Throne, so I looked at how Paul did that. Maybe I'll show you guys the new explosion effect and kind of talk through that. Let me just do it right now since we're talking about it. I'll talk through the changes I made. So One Night One says I'm doing a great job. He didn't enjoy a game like this for a very long time. Oh, that's interesting. That's very that's very kind of you to say. So when you say a game like this, what do you mean? Do you mean a RPG, a roguelike? Because we try to sit somewhere between a first-person shooter and a dungeon crawler and a roguelike, somewhere around there. That's kind of our goal. Let's see if is it my recent documents? Yeah. Okay, yeah, here. Yeah, yeah. Cool. So this is what I ended up with. Um, so it's a blend of some stuff I've seen from Paul Beer, from Arcade Hero, and from Saint 11. They all do excellent work, and I like some of the elements of each of their how they do explosions, and I kind of incorporated that, and I'll talk through it real quick. So if I hit play, um, this is what I ended up with. I also have some secondary particles I added as well. So maybe if I actually, I'll show you the actual sprite sheet as well. It's actually committed into Delver, and then it'll make a little bit more sense. Particles large. So this is what it actually looks like. So I have the primary explosion, which is 9 frames, and then I have these secondary explosions, which kind of mimic how the explosion clouds work. And what we do is we play the primary explosion in the center, and then in a radius around it, we're going to spawn in these secondary particles. So so the secondary particles will linger a little bit longer at the end, so it gives it a little bit of a volume to the explosion rather than being a flat sprite. Yeah, but so I ended up here. What I did is I really liked in Nuclear Throne how they had this really contrasty first couple frames where it's all white and then dark. So that's what I liked from that. And then from Arcade Hero, he had this really kind of cool ring effect coming out. So I basically lifted that as well. So I really like how there's two parts to the explosion really. There is see I have a whole ton of layers over here. So let's see if I can get stuff organized so we can actually talk about it. So I called let's see, one flash. Let's see. So it is just that. that is the flash. It's the, I guess, the most violent part of the explosion. And then to support that, I added smoke. So then the smoke, it was because this is the next thing I worked on, where it actually is like, um, I guess I'm trying to think of what so the explosion is the release of energy, and then kind of the smoke is the residue. It's the what's left after the reaction of the explosion. Um, and I also added what I call puff details. So basically, it's just breaking up. So when these puffs of smoke, I'll toggle it here. Um, I just added a bunch of smaller puffs to actually make it I don't know, a little bit more interesting because it was because having the puffs like uniformly break into like the was it the 9 even little puffs doesn't make a lot of sense. So I added those in. And then I think a lot of the rest of these layers, I added a debris layer, which is like some junk getting thrown out. Um, I'm not sure how realistic it is, but I think it works pretty well when we pop open the extra secondary explosions around it, because it looks like it actually gets kicked off by the primary explosion. So I think that works out pretty well. Um, and then yeah, just a lot of these layers are just little tweaks. I like to work in layers, mostly because I don't like relying on undo. Sometimes you go beyond the undo stack limit, so it's nice to have layers to kind of work on that, help you work on that. Um, yep, so that's the new explosion. Um, it looks like Chad's also been pretty busy too. He's tweaked the UI button. Um, so we now track the number of, so he's still, it looks like he's working on the identify system a little bit. So it looks like maybe there's some stats around the items identified now. Um, he's been working on the shop screen, which is cool. He's been playing around some scroll prices. So, and unifying the accent color of the shop and message overlay. So let's um, let's launch Delver, the latest from Source, and kind of see what those changes are. And I'll play a little bit for folks who aren't familiar with the game, so you can see what the game's all about. And then I'm gonna do some work. Okay, let's launch Delver Desktop. So one night, Shot One says, "Yeah, I'm really into roguelikes, and this is probably the only one I enjoy this much." Thank you. That's very very kind of you to say. Um, yeah, we're trying to have a pretty lightweight roguelike where we like I don't know, like I want it to be easy to pick up and play, and it doesn't require you know huge swaths of your life to actually get through. So Chad says he's working on the shop. Oh, cool. So here's some scrolls, scroll of health, enchant weapons, scroll of health, resist magic. That's nice. So if you don't know, these are the shops. This is the beginning of the game. So when you start a new game, you pop up outside here, outside the camp. So that's the dungeon ahead of us, and then to the right is the camp. The camp has some shops. So when you initially start off, you only have 40 gold, which isn't really enough to buy much. I think you can buy some arrows and some other small things. But the thing of it is when you die, your gold persists to the next life. Uh, so you can use that to maybe make the next run a little bit easier. Our goal is not to make it so you grind your way through, but to maybe add some variety through your playthroughs. Again, if you folks find that that's not working, please let me know. I've also played around. I'd like to maybe have some items you can only buy in the camp that don't appear in the dungeon, which I thought would be a cool way to kind of differentiate that. But again, um, feel free to share your thoughts with me. And over here, yeah, so he's added the icons to this, which I think is nice, especially so because a lot of times when you're playing the game, you don't really necessarily read the name of the thing. You just know what it looks like through the picture. So I think that's helpful. So yeah, all I can afford now is some arrows. So nope, I think I think that's good. Yeah, we have these little notes stashed around, like This one right here is just basically like a little mini tutorial. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but let's just play a little bit of Delver, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll run into some like some of the new magic items Chad's been working on, and maybe some identify stuff because that'll be cool. Um, yep. We also made it so when you hit breakable stuff, that the breakable stuff will um, wiggle a little bit to let you know that it's breakable. So that's cool. Um, I think he also added so that the jibs will rotate. So see if I can make the jibs fall down here. Yeah, they rotate a little bit, which is cool. It adds a little bit more variety. Yep. Okay. So yeah, so this is the first area of the game. Crap. Um, is the Did I get everybody? Is like the dungeon theme. This is the most I guess typical of dungeon crawlers is this kind of um, like brick and wood and kind of human-based enemies, and this is kind of a um, I would say it's pretty stereotypical, right? But hopefully it's what people already know and understand without being too strange off the bat. Here's a spike trap on the wall. It's triggered by proximity, um, so when I get close, it goes out and back in, and I can time my movements around that. Now you can also trigger it with items. So if I leave my wand next to it, it should still keep going. So it reacts to like you could use arrows to trigger traps. Enemies can trigger traps. Um, these are just kind of how those systems work, which hopefully leads to some interesting situations. Similar to here, here's a floor trap, a floor spike trap, I should say. Let's see. Yep. And occasionally we get these weird dark sprites. I think the last time I checked, there was something strange with how we were handling Fulbright sprites. I'm not entirely for certain. It's something that we have logged a bug for. Um, and again, it's not a super high priority because we have a. So I really appreciate you folks taking the time to send Chad and I or just the Steam forums screenshots and reports on things that aren't working right. I do log them or I make a copy of them in our GitHub repo, and I create issues out of those, and those issues get assigned to releases. And unfortunately, I have to prioritize them. So um, some folks have found some game-breaking bugs, and those go above minor graphical glitches. But please report everything you find. I would like to make the game, well, as you know, smooth and functional and beatable, but also as beautiful as possible. So I appreciate all your folks' input. Okay. Yeah, she jumps, so you have to be careful and kind of either like sidestep her or kind of keep your distance. Okay. So White Sarcophagus says he's loving the new effects added in. Cool, thank you. Yeah, so this update we're shooting for a November release, which hopefully we're still on track for. Is kind of giving some love to a lot of the particle effects and special effects in general, and tweaking the UI. So hopefully the things we're working on reflect that. I think they have. Um, got a little using the mage there to do my dirty work. Um, this is what kind of scroll is this? Of haste. Let me try using the scroll of haste to get in close to this guy. There we go. That's a fine iron dagger, which I believe, yep, is better than my current iron dagger. So that's what I'm going to use. Grab all this junk. Yeah. So this is a new item, or it's a new kind of item. So as you see when you hover over it, it has a blue name, which indicates that it is special. So this is a King's Excellent Iron Short Sword. If the folks who have been with Delver a while will recognize that we've had some special items for a little while, like you'll find like a Sword of Flame or a Sword of Haste. But Chad is working on kind of beefing that up a little bit. So now you can have like the King's Excellent Iron Short Sword of Haste. And a lot of these modifiers are only applied to weapons, but now the modifiers can be applied to armor as well, which I think will add some more variety to the items in the game. So yeah, I want to use this. It does crazy damage, and also I think it does this attack is actually my stat and not actual. I mean, the stat helps my damage, but um, and I've got that lantern because that's nice to have. So that's very cool. And if I look here, yeah, it's just 13 to 15 damage, which is a heck of a lot more than I was doing. So it's very helpful. In chat, so Rion PG says I was going to buy this game this summer, but I thought it was abandoned, so I didn't. But now I want it again. Smiley face. Yeah. So to talk about that, I've talked about it almost every stream now, but the game is not abandoned. Um, Last year, I basically took the last year off. Um, my wife and I, um, we got pregnant, and our first child was born this past April. So I spent the last year supporting her. Um, I guess to get a little personal, if you guys don't mind, it wasn't easy for us actually. We'd been trying for a while, and things just weren't working out. So um, when it finally happened, we were, thrilled, but also terrified. There we go. Got a level up, which is nice. Smack him. Again, it's trying to manage. So this attack here, I was trying to manage because the mage is going to hang back and shoot at you, and the little druid guy or the green shirt guy, he's going to try to get close. So I was trying to keep the geometry between me and the mage, but still have a way to get at the guy who's trying to get in close range. Because unfortunately, if they both gang up on me, that's going to be pretty bad. Um, uh, Again, we're trying to have each enemy have a different flavor, a little bit like that. So the combinations of them are interesting. Because unfortunately, I just don't like the unholy excellent skull cap. Oh, unholy. Oh, because it's, like I said, ruins my defense if I wear it. Okay. That's cool. Um, Wands are always good. Um, yeah, so we're trying to have good enemy differentiation. And that way you have to prioritize how you fight them, and you also have to prioritize with what you fight them. Crap. Okay, this is a bad situation. I want to eat some. So you can also, if you time your attacks right, you can actually knock the shots out of the air. But I am not doing that. Ah! Because everything is like all the spell effects are physically modeled, so I got him. Okay, cool. Like spells can actually collide with each other, and if you're quick enough with your melee weapon, you can actually deflect spells, except for the lightning spell. I think that one just ignores all hit detection and just is basically a railgun. Um, Rion says, "I wish the best for you." Thank you. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Dr. Hugel says, "I wish the end had an optional boss or ones to be previous run to be equipped with old items." Yeah, no, I agree that the end game does need some love, and I have some thoughts in my mind of how to change it. I think it's going to be tweaked before we actually call the game done. Um, so yeah, I feel you there. Um, uh, Chris says hello, hello, Chris. Thank you for joining us. I feel bad that it's so early in New Zealand right now, but I appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. Hopefully everything is going well your way. Oh, okay. So you notice I have a whole bunch of potions, and They don't really say what they do. Um, so Pigorid says, "Hi, men, welcome back. Is my stream only weekly?" So, talk about my stream real quick. Yes, my stream is every Sunday at noon Pacific time. Sometimes I will do bonus streams. I haven't done one in a while. I'm sorry. So my bonus streams I do in the evening after my son's gone to sleep and my wife has gone to sleep. And lately it's just he's teething and he isn't sleeping, and I haven't been able to do bonus streams. But if I do a bonus stream, the best way to find out is either by following me on Twitter or on Twitch, and I'll just pop up at random. But I will every Sunday stream. Well, next Sunday might be hard. We're traveling. I'm going to try to stream from the hotel next Sunday, but we'll see how that works. It might not. Um, Okay, so back to the potions. The problem is like we don't know what they do, right? So we could drink them, but they might be bad, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this blue potion here on the ground, and I'm going to attack it. Okay, so that looks like it was um, that was black, which corresponds to I believe poison. Um, so it's not a good potion, but what we can do since we have another one right here is I can actually mouse wheel over to it, and I can use it as a grenade. So let's see if I can hit some poor enemy with it. Yeah, and with the yeah, so you can see how he's taking damage now. So it looks like I guessed right, and that it in fact is a poison spell. Um, I don't, you can see how he's bleeding out. I don't know. I might because poison won't kill you. Poison will reduce you to 1 health. So hopefully this will just weaken him up a bit. Yeah, there we go. Um, cool. There's a secret door right here, and there's a secret door right here. Oh, sweet! It's a stash. Okay. Let me grab some of this goodies. Is that better than the armor I have? Nope. Okay, cool. So, yep. So this is I've been playing a little while. Let me just quickly just kind of preview some of the other areas. So if I go, I'll just use some developer keys to kind of jump through stuff. So the ability to throw potions is new. Previously, you had to drop them on the ground and attack them, but that's been in for a while. So this is the cave area. The cave area is I've tried to give it a different feel than the dungeon area, so it has a little bit more organic forms, or at least like cave-like forms. The enemies are different. You know, you have a lot more natural enemies. So you have like bats and spiders. You have uh, you know, so you still have some spike traps. We still have some of these weird artifacts showing up. We've tried to hunt these down, and we're still working on it, unfortunately. So you may still see some out of place textures every once in a while. Let me see if I can blast him with my yeah. Okay. So these are the caves, and the caves can be a little disorienting. So it helps to use your map in the caves. You can press M to bring up your map, and that kind of helps you get your bearing. The little green indicator over here is either a stair up or a stair down. We'll just keep going down. Um, the next kind of main area is the sewers, and they're kind of as what you'd expect. They're kind of these steamy sewers with a decent amount of vegetation, and there are these kind of blue goblin troll folk that live in here. Um, yeah, like him. They're kind of tough, not super tough. Um, I have a decent enough weapon to not worry about it. Um, yep. So here, there's a little bit more verticality where these you have like these overhead areas, but also you have a lot of the waters will drop off, and you get these kind of these danger areas where you potentially could get ganged up on, like up here. Like we have these ladders to help you get out, but sometimes if you're not careful, you don't necessarily want to fall into these because the enemies will jump in after you, and that can be uh, make things bad. So here I got poisoned. Let's try drinking potions at random to see if it heals me. That was an iron skin one. So that was a restoration potion, so that fixed me. So let me drop down to the last area, which is what I this is what the so this the most recent update number 12 added this whole new area, which if you go back to the beginning of my stream, so I archive my streams on YouTube. So if you watch through that, you can watch actually the process of me figuring out like what this area is going to look like and me building props for it, um, and trying to figure out what would be interesting about this area. Um, so this is one of the trap areas. There's kind of this weird system that builds out traps for these. It needs a little tweaking, but it works well enough for now. Um, I think I can avoid him. I think that the way I need to go is this way. Yeah, so this has kind of like this gold and stone feel to it, and there's lots of traps. See, this is kind of like a combination of an inner and outer trap. So that is this slow ceiling crusher with these kind of oscillating spikes. So you have to try to navigate. I'll wait for it to switch so they'll move. Um, and again here, using the map is helpful. Um, and this is also where I kind of started working on some of these visual effects stuff um, with the flames for the braziers. And that's kind of the overview of the game. I did skip over some areas and kept it light. Because actually, when you start working, right, I'm like a half hour in, and we need to actually get work done. So we take a look at chat. Um, Killer Haku says this looks interesting. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm in charge of all the visual stuff, so I need to make it as visually interesting as possible. Chad does a lot of the game designy stuff, so a lot of how the systems work and how they kind of interlock is up to him. There's definitely like we definitely talk back and forth. There's a lot of collaboration. Chris is saying, have we considered explosive barrels? Yeah, yeah, especially with the new explosion effect that I've been working on. I think that would work well for that. We're also talking about making the fire wand basically a rocket launcher. So if you folks haven't really realized, um, there are melee weapons and then there are wands, and the wands are basically thinly disguised first-person shooter weapons. So the ice wand shoots a spread, so it's like a shotgun. The lightning wand, the lightning wand shoots a beam of lightning that goes through everything. So that's basically a railgun. So I figure why not just embrace that and kind of differentiate the wands even more. So I'm going to keep pushing for that. We'll see if it lands. But yeah, I think explosive barrels could be fun. I don't necessarily want to throw them through each area. Maybe one or two of the areas if they had explosive barrels, that would be cool. I'm trying to think of adding unique environmental hazards that are unique to each area, so that way each area feels different. Like I would like to do. So last update, we also added the ability for breakable objects to call a trigger. So what I want to do is like maybe in the caves have like a part of the ceiling um, that is a mover object with a like a wooden beam holding it up. So that way, when you attack and break the beam, the mover will fall down and crush anything below it. So I think that would be a fun way to kind of add some variety and also have some environmental hazards that you can use to fight enemies with. Let me see. Chat is chatting, which is cool. Hi, my name is Matt. Says the sewers feel like it would be persistent enemy threat looking for you. Yeah, he likes the blue-green aesthetic of it. Yeah, thank you. I try to make each area aesthetically different as well. So like each like I don't know, I think I was watching some John Romero talk, and he basically was pushing that for Doom. He was always having to have each area be like the areas contrast from each other and be different. So I'm trying to do that both visually and also with like the gameplay that you have area to area should be different than the last. Because I worry that if it starts feeling samey, then it's not as interesting. Um, let me see. So yep, sewers. Yeah, if they're explosive barrels, that would add interesting effects. Like for example, you could shoot them with like wands or arrows and they blow up, but also you could have enemies like the caster enemies. You could probably lure them to shoot it by accident and blow up and either kill themselves or kill enemies near them. You could attack a potion near it, and that would cause a chain explosion, which is cool. Um, you could put potions by the barrel, shoot the barrel, and that will scatter the potions, and then they'll explode. So there's some interesting things you could do there. So Pigga Red says that my game looks amazing. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Um, he said, my name is Nasser. This is a pretty non-generic final area. Thank you. I've tried to make them. I've tried to make them not. I mean, there are some areas. I mean, we're definitely we're definitely paying tribute to a lot of the fantasy stuff that's done before us, right? Like a lot of the stuff isn't like crazy off the wall. We want you to look at like, oh, the sewers and kind of understand what the sewers are about, or like it's a lava ruin, so you can kind of understand at a first glance what's happening, and then maybe there's some subtleties you have to work out. Um, uh, Gui or Guy 2203 says, "What's the mystery of the second area?" So he said the question mark areas. Um, those are what I call the interstitial areas. So typically, they are there to break up the action of the game. So you have like Dungeon 1, Dungeon 2, which is a lot of exploring and fighting, and then you hit the first interstitial, which is the shop interstitial. Um, and that's just some mysterious shopkeeper sitting in this kind of tower in a chasm that you can buy stuff from. And then you go sewer, and then after the sewer is the cold interstitial. And the cold interstitial has, I was trying to do a little bit more storytelling there. So there's this room with some junk in it you can look at. There's also this big hidden door that is not openable yet, but I'd like to put something cool behind it. And it's kind of a secret. So when it happens, I won't tell people. So um, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I guess I've mentioned there's nothing behind it. So for like a year, people were always like trying to figure out what was behind it. And as soon as I mentioned there was nothing behind it, like all the Steam threads now are just like, there's nothing behind it. It's a disappointment. And there will be something behind it eventually. Um, that's just, I don't know. Like trying to keep secrets while streaming your development is hard. The game is called Delver. Uh, so let me see. So Pigga Red says last week, I don't know if I remember, I explained why I did pixel art, etc. I made a tile set for a game I'm planning to make, and this is an example of them added together. An example. Could I give advice on how it looks? Um, Let me pop that open real quick. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, like I said, I really don't do a lot of feedback here. This is mostly for me to work on Delver. But if you could like, if you guys want like feedback on the stuff you're working on, you can tweet me at Joshua Skelly, or you can email me directly at joshua.skelton@gmail.com, and I will be happy to talk about it there. Just a quick like off the cuff. Ba, 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 ba. It looks like you're using Photoshop, which is cool. And it looks like you're mocking up animations, which is also very cool. I guess some of the big things are kind of. I like that you're being good with your color usage. Like you're only using a few colors and you're using them well. Um, so that's cool. Something you might want to think about is those harsh black outlines. Um, um, selective outlining on pixel art is an interesting like subject because some folks like it, some folks don't. But I would suggest instead of using straight up black, try to find a darker shade of the color that's near it. So for example, on the ground tile, instead of using black for the grass, use like a dark green. And I think that will also make it look a little bit nicer. But again, that's a preference thing. Um, looks like yeah. Otherwise, it looks good. Yeah, keep at it. Let me see. So Pigga Red is saying, is there co-op? No. So Delver is a single player game. It has always been single player from the get-go, and it's been designed for the past 3 years like that. Um, I would love to make something like Delver co-op. Um, and that, I mean, I'd love to do another project with Chad, and that might be something we'd consider. But again, these are future things. But right now, Delver is a single player only experience. But I would love to do multiplayer sometime in the future. Yeah, no, the for the focus for Delver, we're trying to really just kind of um, I want it to be mostly about exploring interesting areas and having some kind of interesting encounters, right? So that's why we're trying to have a good enemy differentiation. So you might have to be juggling like a long range enemy versus a flying enemy versus some enemy that wants to get close to you. Also, I want to have like these beautiful environments for you to explore and kind of try to find the little secrets in. Let me see. Um, so Chris is saying, speaking of Doom, he thought about infighting. Yeah. So right now, if you notice, the AI in Delver um, isn't super complicated because right now they only attack the player. You can make them attack each other, but they won't retaliate. That's I think that's more of a Chad question. I'm not sure how much work would be involved in that, but I know that as for their navigation, um, they only ever consider the player and things they can't walk through. Killer Haku says, "Just got it. I'll play it, I guess." No, thank you for buying my game. I really appreciate that. It definitely supports me and enables me to keep working on it. Um, so Firmament Knights is asking, what do I think separates good pixel art from bad pixel art? Eesh, that's a hard question. There are a lot of things that make good pixel art. I mean, it's kind of I could give a really kind of I don't know, like a just a general art answer in that, it's like you color usage, it's like defining forms, stuff like that. It's a hard thing, right? It's subjective. Like there are some games that have bad pixel art that I think look awesome and they're doing it on purpose. So it's very subjective. But for me, I try to have good colors. I try to have decent colors, and I try to have easy readable forms. Um, Uh, I'm sorry, I can't articulate more than that. Um, Let me see. Uh, okay, so yep. Busy chat this week. Yeah, no, chat's good, but I need to work. So let's actually do some pixel art since we're talking about that, right? So I know Chad wants to add a new wand. Since we're working on this paralyze effect, he wanted to add a paralyze wand. Um, So let me just quickly work on that. So here is our item sheet for Delver. These are all the items in the game right now. If you notice, I have this kind of crazy pink tile called GFX error, and I started doing that pretty early on um, because sometimes if we added new items, and so for example, if Chad added a new item, like the new wand slot's going to go here, right? So before I added the GFX error icons, everything was just empty, right? So he would add a new item, and the item would live here. And um, before we were in source control, sometimes the art would get out of sync, and all of a sudden I would have invisible items dropping around. And also we also had a bug for this last update where you might have gotten invisible wall geometry, which is fixed, but one person did report it, and it's because of an incorrect tile index, and it's grabbing a clear tile. So that's why I put these GFX error tiles in there, just so that um, we can quickly tell if we've goofed something up. So if you ever see one of these in the game, please let me know. That means either I've made a mistake or one of our systems is going a little haywire. Um, so yeah. Okay, so working on a new wand. So um, some things I want to think about. So the wands do have a. So I want the wands to have a roughly similar shape, where they're kind of like like they want to look like a wand, right? It's something you hold in your hand, but I want them to visually differentiate them from each other. Like if you notice with the potions, The potions are all different colors, but they're also all different shapes. And this is just it's for better identification, and it's also better for folks who have varying degrees of color blindness. Having the different shapes really helps differentiate the items. Um, so I want to have a unique shape and a nice different like color. Again, going on with contrasty things. So what would a paralyzed wand look like is a good question. If you guys have interesting thoughts, please let me know. I might just start scribbling stuff down to see if I can come up with interesting forms. Um, yeah, and Chris is saying he spots new. So these have always been here for a new bow, and I would like to have a new bow, to be honest with you, but like the bows in general need love, and but yeah, I'd like to focus on the bow for like an update where we could have like bows that have different ranges and bows like maybe have different like maybe the arrows actually factor into the damage too, but that's outside the scope of the stuff we planned for the game, so I'm not going to commit too much to that, you know. So let me see. So Matt is also going to ask about pixel art feedback. Yeah, I mean, if you guys, I would love to give you guys feedback, but please, or if would you guys rather me do just like a stream where I do feedback on a stream? Because if you guys don't want to, you guys can email me, um, or you can tweet me. Um, so Chris is suggesting some kind of serpent for the paralyzed. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea having um, the wand, the way it looks, also kind of tied to the the theme of what it's doing actually. And then 109 Thanos is suggesting like a fairy wand. Um, White Sarcophagus says a skeletal hand stuck on the end of a stick, something hinting to the bottom levels. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Um, yeah, so Matt's saying maybe another time. Yeah, so I could do, huh, I mean, I don't have a lot of time for streaming, but I could just do a general pixel art stream because I do. Um, I try to participate in the Pixel Dailies. I did one last week, but then I realized it had been a year before I done one before that. So maybe I'll just do a pixel art stream sometime. So if you guys follow me on either here Twitter or Twitch, I will do a pixel stream in the near future, and I will do some art and also just do some critique. So I like the idea of the serpent, and I also like the idea of a skeleton, and I also like the idea hinting at the bottom levels and a fairy wand. Um, Hmm. Maybe like a gold serpent thing, because I think the gold theme kind of ties to the ruins area. I mean, I already have a goldish one there. Let me just start. Let me just see what I can get get going. Um, oh, of course, my Wacom tablet isn't set up. Okay. Yeah, yeah the final area also has serpent themes too, so that does seem to make sense. Um, so Kilo Haku is suggesting violet and black. Golden serpent sounds awesome. So let's try. So maybe like there's a serpent head here-ish. I'm just gonna be really rough and just try to like, I'm a serpent. Um, that's not what it's going to end up being, but you can kind of get the idea. And then maybe this thing does something where like it coils around the actual wand, kind of like how this magic missile wand is doing over here. Um, so Yeah, I think this is a cool idea. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you guys helping me kind of figure out some interesting ideas. Okay. Um, uh, Chris is saying ship it, which is basically a term for uh, that it's good enough. Go ahead and just call it done. Um, uh, yeah. Um, no, so sometimes when I work, I like to focus on just the general shape of things first before worrying about outline and color. Um, because sometimes I think that that's more important to actually just focus on the shape of the darn thing and not getting too tied down with um, like color choice and other things like that. But I also want to let's make a new layer and just kind of quickly. I'm just gonna again just a contrasty color. I'm gonna kind of see like so the wand would run like that. Let me just actually just do a quick and dirty. Um, Let me just copy this guy, then paste it there, and then over here I will just fill that in solid um, and try to see. Okay, and then here. I just don't want it to be too much larger than the other ones because let me see. So looks like Gavin. It says what this new one going to be and also hi. So Gavin is another independent game developer. He runs a website called Drunk Devs. He is always working on something cool and weird and zany. Um, a few years ago now, we made a game together called Full Moon Rising, which is a little werewolf side scroller thing, which was kind of fun. It was really, really fun to work with him on that. And he streams very regularly. So if you guys are also interested in watching another person stream and talk about game development, I suggest giving his stream a follow and check him out. So to answer Gavin's question, so we recently so in Delver, we're working on adding a proper stun effect. So right now in Delver, we have a hit stun. So if you hit somebody, they'll be stunned for a few frames. But now we're actually adding a proper stun. So if you hit them, they'll be stunned for like a second or two, um, which is it's useful for managing crowds of enemies. So this new wand I'm working on is going to be a stun wand. So that's why I think somebody suggested having a serpent wand, which I thought was a cool idea. Because I guess serpent either means poison or like paralysis. I think paralysis works well for what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna quickly just see if I can make this look like things coiling around it. So it would be something like that and that. And what's the other? So this little part here would be the tail would kind of be coiling around it here. So yeah, I think that could be cool. Um, yeah, Uh, except for the weird part where it goes next to the serpent's mouth. Should I have done it the other way around? Let me clear out that mask and do it the other way and see if that's good. Yeah, Gavin, no problems for no problem for the shout out. I really appreciate the fact that Gavin is very positive and he makes weird stuff and I'm glad people still make weird stuff. Like that stuff needs to be made. So, so I'm trying to. This should kind of like so like under, over, under. that right? Am I doing my coiling correctly? I'm trying to envision in my head what it looks like. Maybe I'm not. Ugh. Why can my why can my brain not grok this? Sometimes I'm sorry. Sometimes I have these moments on the stream where I just totally like do a brain dump and I can't do basic things. Um, so the head goes over here. Then there we go, Joshua. And then over the top and down, and then over here. Okay, so I think I'm starting to figure out what this might look like a little bit. Okay, so and then the wand should go kind of behind there, and then I need to lower this coil a little bit just so. Let's make a new layer. Make a new. So this coil should go down here a little bit lower because it should be kind of because it needs to actually be encompassing the wand. Um, Same thing here. It needs to be just a little bit wider to imply that the snake has width and it's actually wrapping around the wand. Same there. And then, so boom, boom, and then maybe have the tail kind of just stick out. I don't know. Whatever looks cool. So it's a snake on a stick. Which is, yeah, it's a thing, I guess. Uh, yeah, so Chris is talking about the whole snakes and paralysis connection, which I think is cool. Um, sorry, I keep bouncing back and forth between Windows and OS X, and like my brain keeps breaking, and I keep messing up the shortcut keys. So if you see me do weird stuff sometimes, that's unfortunately what I'm doing. Um, yeah, and Gavin, I'd love to do another small project with you sometime in the future. It's just right now I have zero time for side projects. So I think what I want to do, so I put this on its own layer. I want to add a little bit more room. So maybe the snake coils look like that, and then the wand looks like that. Because I want the wand to have a little bit more room than it was having. Um, hmm. Looks like, I'm not sure what Piglet is talking about. Interpolation set to bilinear. Oh, he's talking about Photoshop stuff. Um, ye no. Unfortunately, like I would disagree. Um, like the thing that draws me to pixel art um, is is actually choosing which pixel to put where and actually the color and value of the pixel I'm putting down. And if you just do a scale up like that, the computer just kind of blurs it out. I don't think it looks nearly as strong as if you had chosen the colors yourself. Okay. Um, so I think that will, I mean, I'm not sure if I should make the wand look a little less, maybe try to take down the thickness of the wand a little bit. It feels like it's pretty heavy to me right now, but there is a snake wrapped around it, so that might also explain why it feels really heavy. Let me just um, try to play with how these feel. Yeah, it feels a little bit thinner, which is good. Um, I think it doesn't. It's a little too thin right there. Um, so again, Pigred, I'd have to disagree. I just don't. I mean, if you like the results, that's great. But um, I personally don't work that way. I always use if I do scale stuff up, I will use nearest neighbor, and then I go back through and then I fix all the artifacts that the scaling introduced. Okay, so let's start doing some colors, I guess. Okay, so I guess I'll just not worry about what colors I'm going to do right now, but I will. Um, Basically, I'm going to copy the colors from this Warhammer here, and then I can play around with the colors of the actual wand itself to see if I can find a better combination. So I'm going to kind of just lay down uh, this kind of mid-tone gold. I'm not even sure what happened there. And then I'm just going to kind of hide the details in this dark color. Because I don't necessarily want the alpha, but I still want the little details. So I'll do that. I'm trying to think, should the selective outlining go on the inside or the outside? And maybe that just depends on, yeah, I guess the jaw being a little bit thinner is okay. Um, yeah, that's looking okay. Yeah. So Killer Haku is suggesting make it look like the green one, so it's not so bulky. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, and I very well might go back through and play with the volume a bit as well, trying to make it a little bit thinner because right now it does look I mean, it is pretty thick. Um, so I can play with that stuff later. But I think overall I like the direction it's heading. I think that's cool. Um, and then we should be getting some highlights here-ish. Yeah, here, highlights. Just trying to think of where the light's coming from. Um, okay. So Chad is here. So Chad Cuddigan is the primary developer, or only developer, I should say, on Delver. Usually he's out in the woods kicking rocks about this time, but he's decided to hang out with us, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm working on the Paralyzed Wand, which hopefully you managed to work out by now. So I'm just kind of playing around with this kind of serpent wand idea that I think Chris and chat threw out. So we'll see how that turns out. And also maybe Chad can actually field some questions for me. Maybe he doesn't get off so easy. So again, just trying to think of like where the light and shadow would fall on this snake thing. Trying to get too stuck on details. Um, Also, I think I'm just going to lay down the red color for the handle at this point in time. And I guess I can try to find something better later on, I suppose, if I need to. I think Yeah, make sure I'm not goofing that up. And then the handle has this kind of pink color to it. And then I laid down this purple down here, and then this red. I'm just kind of using my previous art as a style guide, just so I'm consistent. And these might not be final. It's just a way for me to work quickly and to not overthink things. So we have the thing going through there, which is cool. Um, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. So I think I need more volume on the snakehead, maybe. Like it really ought to, like it should be more round than actual like flat. So maybe that's what's missing there. I've been kind of maybe these should have like the shading kind of wrap around the actual form of the snake, which I think might work out a little better. Then similarly, I can have this come down and kind of imply the same thing. Um, that's cool. Da, 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 da. Let's see. I guess that's looking okay. It kind of looks snake-like. Let me go in here. Maybe. Yeah, I still think it might be a little on the thick side, so maybe I can thin it out a bit. So maybe add another row of this. Clean that up there. Again, just kind of playing around with shapes and forms, trying to make sure things look good, not overcomplicating things. Trying to take out some of the bulk of the serpent. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and merge down because I think I'm okay right now. Okay, I think it's a little bit better. I think the tail needs to be tweaked a little bit. Okay. So if the snake did not have the mouth open, I can see what that looks like. I'm just worried that without the mouth open, it won't look much like a snake. So if I did something like this where I closed off the mouth, something like that, right? I just worry that it starts to look like a worm and not an actual snake. Um, but we'll see. Like I just don't want to get too crazy with like, because the wand shouldn't be huge. And here I am adding like a cobra. Uh, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that. Sometimes, can I make it something like that? Maybe. I'm just duplicating my layer real quick, and I can work on this idea. If I don't know if that looks too derpy, but have some things like that maybe. Um, yeah, talking about maybe a forked tongue. Um, again, like I only have so many pixels to work with. I could add kind of what would a forked tongue look like? Let's leave that there. Let's do that like that. I don't know. um, yeah. Chris is implying that yeah, the shots could come out of the mouth. So then should the head be at like an angle? So if I grab this, like Pigger was talking about a little bit earlier, if I make a copy of that, and if I transform it using nearest uh, 45, which leaves it a jumbled mess that I can go in and clean it up because in my brain I can rotate it correctly, but Photoshop is not my brain, unfortunately. Um, so just gonna try to mimic what it ought to look like. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay, so there is a snake-ish head, I guess. I could round off the back of the head pretty easy here just by doing something like that. Um, uh, Again, let me just tweak the mouth shape a little bit. I'm not sure how much I'm feeling that, to be honest. Let me play around with. So I'm like trying to squint, and it's just not. I'm not sure if I am liking where this is going, really. So Killahaku said he liked the worm one the best up until now. Um, I think the worm one was just where I simply just kind of cleaned up the mouth here. Um, oh, I did not want to rotate my canvas, sorry. Let's reset. Let's go to the eraser tool, which was what I was going for. Do something like that. I mean, it is simpler. Um, there's nothing wrong with simplifying how something looks. Yeah. That's too much yellow. I don't know. Maybe it was better with these guys here. Yeah, Dr. Kegel, yeah, it does look a lot like the Fire Wand. I just want to get the shading and stuff correct, and then like I could play around with colors. A lot of times in Photoshop, what I'll do is you can just hit Control U, and you can play around with hue saturation real quick, just to get like what things might look like in different colors, you know. Um, you can also selectively do that to different parts. Yeah, so we can just select like the wand parts of this. And then play around with colors on that to see what would look interesting. You know, like he was suggesting a purple, which I mean, Delver has a lot of purple in the environment, but I don't know if we have a lot of purple necessarily in the. Do we have a purple potion? We have like a magenta potion, but we don't have a lot of purple in the actual items themselves. Um, yeah, Chris says forget the open mouth. Um, okay, yeah, I won't worry too much about it then. Let me just duplicate that and I'll play around with, I mean, we could do like the gold off of the sword here, right? So let me see, like this would be, I think it's the same color as that. And then that color. And then pull the light off that color. I mean, I guess gold and blue is kind of a traditional color. I mean, it kind of looks like the ice wand already, though. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still like, feeling very non-committal about this whole snake thing too. So I don't know. So So the Gelmugga says, saw a dreaded word in Howdy, with which you should be careful on Reddit, roguelike. Um, so I'm not sure what you mean be careful with the term roguelike. I spend no time on Reddit, so I don't know what it's like over there. Um, I guess in my opinion, roguelike spans a very large genre, an ever-growing genre of things. Um, you call it a roguelike like, a roguelite. I mean, at the end of the day, these all mean the same thing, right? So this is a paralyzed wand, is what I'm working on. So this is suggesting a pattern on the snake. So the thing is, I don't have a lot of room to work with on the snake. I could really do a quick and dirty um, dither on it. I made a handy little dither brush that I could try that on, but I just don't know. Um, where are my tool presets? Oh, it's on. Oh, no, it's on my other. It's on my other. Of course, it's on my other machine. So let's just do this. Let's just pattern. So I do have the pattern here. Just fill the pattern like that. Let's delete all that. Let's put in like the dark color I'm not using a lot. I mean, it just makes it really like I don't think I have enough pixels to actually do a proper pattern. I mean, I can imply a pattern, but yeah, not sure. Hmm. Bu- 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 Oh yeah, he just I don't find the roguelike argument very fruitful. Um, so I don't participate in it. Yeah, that's true. Yep. So Chris is also pointing out like don't be too attached to the design. So yeah, let's how since I'm kind of stalling out here, let's just go ahead and let's just I'm gonna go over here and start a new wand because why not? Maybe I'll like this one better. Yeah, technically our game is tile based, which is yeah. Yeah, I could I did start off with that zigzag shape, which might be okay. Let me grab something like this, and then yeah, maybe just a simpler wand, a less um, worrying less about actual like image iconography and just uh, more just a cool shape that's easily readable is a better route to go. Let's see, 32. Cool. I'm just trying to get my grid so I can see where this guy falls. So if I put it over here and then just bring it over with the shift key, I can keep it constrained to the x-axis, and I can, again, similar to how I was working over there, I will just fill this in. I think this is the correct one, yeah. Snake. And here, maybe I can just do, I could work on that zigzag pattern that maybe is a little bit more interesting. So kind of go up from here and over and kind of because I mean our game is very graphic um, in nature, as in um, not graphic as in like explicit, but graphic as in we prefer, or I prefer, I guess I can't speak for Chad, but I prefer having things be a little bit more simplified and non-realistic than actual worrying about rendering out something that is like a more realistic representation. So if I could simplify it and make it a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more easier to read, that's okay by me. Now that I look at it, it almost makes sense for the lightning wand to be this crazy, like lightning shaped thing, and just make the old bone one be the stun wand. Let me see what a lightning like a lightning bolt thing would look like. Let me just if I just do it quick and dirty, grab that and duplicate it, and then let's if I rotate it like that. Why did it? It shouldn't be doing. It should be doing nearest neighbor. I'm not sure why it's getting anti-alias in there, but it's not a lot. Um, and then here I can quickly just do that. And there we go. Yeah, that could be okay for for the lightning wand to actually be just a straight up. I don't know. I mean, let's see. You know, it kind of reminds me of like when I was a kid and you would watch cartoons, and whenever people would depict Zeus. Zeus always had this crazy like a physical lightning bolt, and as soon as he would throw it, it would spring into like a actual being an actual lightning thing. Um, so Rion PG is saying it needs a handle. Maybe. Let me just duplicate it where it's at, and let me just kind of really quickly block out some colors here. Okay. And then this guy can be the like the center line. That seems okay. And just kind of imply. Yep. Yeah, no, again, it's just trying to map these colors to um, unfortunately also there's a cultural aspect too. Like different cultures associate different colors with different things. So we also have to be kind of careful about that. Um, but I think as long as Delver is kind of consistent in how we handle things, I think it'll be all right. Uh, me. Again, not super into this one either. Oh well. Hmm, uh, yeah. So yellow as Pokemon, yellow equals paralyze, which is funny. I never really I played the I think I played Pokemon Red, and that was about the last Pokemon I played. So unfortunately, there wasn't color involved in that. Um, yeah, I could try putting a handle on it. Let's see what that looks like. Um, okay, let's go up here. And then I worry if I put a handle on it, then it starts looking too much like a sword. um, which might mean I need to tone back the adding a little bit of a pommel here. Adding maybe I need to tone back how much it actually uh, zigzags. I'm just trying to work loose here, not be too worried about stuff. Um, I think the grid's messing me up a little bit. Turn that off. At least, well, it has a unique shape-ish to it. Um, yeah. Yep. 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 So Rion is talking about the same thing I'm talking about. It's just trying to maybe thin it up so it does actually look like a wand and not like a sword. So yep, working on that. I'm just trying to scoot that around, see if I can find a better spot for it, which I think I have. We'll see. That should go there. Because these maybe a little, well, at this point in time, Chris, I'm just trying to find a new wand that could be thrown into the mix, right? So if I need to, I'll probably just keep this one as lightning and just find. I'm trying to find basically a good shape that I can use for the paralyzed wand. Um, uh, bu- 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 I mean, I could just go. I could go a different direction entirely and just do something like kind of like what this guy's doing, but um, what if it's just a stick? Like literally a stick. I don't know. I just again I don't want to get too stuck on any one particular idea. So again, um, just trying to try different things out. Um, yeah, I mean, I love the creative aspect of art, but sometimes it's also like right, like I guess doing it on a stream is pretty. I don't know, it's I don't know, I find it a little intense, a little uncomfortable because like a lot of times some of my work is fruitless, which is hard. I think hard to watch, and I apologize for that if that ends up being the case. I'm just trying to find uh, cool stuff. Maybe make this. Yep, yep. I just gotta learn to not sweat it so much. So put something like this on the end, that on the end, and then lighten this up a little. Okay. And yeah, like that maybe. No, that should have been like that, excuse me. And then this guy goes here. So the fire wand and the burn wand. So we have a fire wand which shoots a fireball, and we have a fire scroll which puts out a big area of effect, like I guess you could call it a burn effect, I suppose. Okay. Again, not super loving this, but we'll keep going. I always feel like I do a lot of ideas on the stream, and then throughout the week, sometime I get a, like a aha moment, and then I go in and I crank it out, and you guys aren't here to watch it, and I feel a little bit bad, but I also am glad that I'm just making progress. Hmm. Stick. Pulse BPM says, "Am I a pro or is this for fun?" Um, a little column A, a little column B. Um, it started off as just a just for fun project, but we got greenlit on Steam. So I try to treat it like a job, um, which makes it, to be honest, a little less fun, but I still enjoy working on it. Yeah, so we are on Steam Early Access. Uh, and I do this every Sunday. My community or the community around Delver can ask questions and see what we're working on, and just have a general open line of communication with us. Cool. Yeah. So that's a stick. That is a stick, Joshua. Um, yeah. Okay. Uh, a zigzag wand with silver as electricity conducting, paralyzed. I don't know, just spitting ideas. Yeah, no. I appreciate people just kind of throwing out ideas. I can't guarantee that I'll end up using them, but you know, it's nice just having a little bit of a creative like brainstorm session or a little bit of a creative flow going on. Um, it's always appreciated. stick. Just, um, if I had, I still kind of like the idea of stuff like just draping around and off of it, but you know, I mean, I might be trying to force this idea. I don't know. Yeah, I think Chris, you're right as well. Like my wife made she made a point that because I talked to her about. I mean, she's very supportive of what I do, and she is our primary income earner. And I tell her that I get really frustrated when I don't make good progress on a stream. But she made a good point that she said it's okay for folks to see me struggle because um, I guess if it looks effortless and easy, that's kind of being disingenuous. Like a lot of times, I do struggle on this stuff, and I sometimes I don't have a lot to show for it. Um, so Gold Moon 1337, Josh, I should join the Seattle Indie Discord and post up that you're streaming there too. Gold Moon, is this Angel maybe? That might not be a terrible idea. Yeah, no. Um, I live up in the Seattle area, and I'm very fortunate to have a large number of both independent and professional game developers up here. Um, and we're a pretty, I guess, social lot. Like we get together fairly regularly and just support each other and talk about what we're working on. And it's a really nice community that I'm part of up here. Um, Yeah, no, like there's the like, and so that it is Angel. So hey, Angel, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, right? There's the Facebook group. I think somebody started a Slack channel at one point. There's just so much social media I can't keep on top of it. So I just do my little thing, and I appreciate all the different ways of trying to publicize what I work on, though. That's cool. Um, I appreciate your feedback. Let me think. Kilo Hacker says I'm trying to combine the stick one with a snake. The stick needs to have a leaf. So I already put. That's the thing is on the missile wand over here. I already have a leaf on that, and the green theme ties in well with the because the actual magic missile shot is green. Um, so I think that works well. Um, I don't want to really confuse the wands too much. I'm thinking of uh, sprites. Maybe having. Uh, Maybe this looks like a spider web. I'm not sure. We'll see where this goes. I just started painting this little thing as a lark. Maybe something will come of it. Again, just trying to give myself enough pixels to work with to maybe this should be thicker down here. Okay. Okay. It's interesting. Is it good? We'll find out, I guess. So darkening it when it comes back around behind. Have it maybe transition as I kind of turn the corner here. I don't know. It looks interesting. I don't know if it reads like a spider web though. Um, yeah, this is actually pretty low color. There's only the handful of colors on this guy. So leave the dark dark. Try brighten this up a little bit. This should be, as it wraps around this way, should be light again. Let me see. Yeah, somebody would just point out, Killer Haku says this does kind of look like a snake, kinda, I guess. It is just a thin little thready thing going around. I don't know. Right now. I'm just kind of playing, seeing seeing if I get anything out of it. Um, let me see. Blah, 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 blah. So Killer Haku is really working on making it a snake, which is cool, you know. I have nothing wrong with that. Um, and he's drawing it on paper. You know, like some people work on paper. I work primarily digitally these days. That just seems to be kind of the fastest way for me to work. But yeah, no, if folks, I mean, just work in a way that works for you. Um, yeah, let's just. Blah, 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 Just again, just kind of looking at things, trying to see. I think it's interesting. I just don't know if it reads. I don't know if it is. If it if it looks like what I think it looks like. You know, it almost looks like it almost looks like toilet paper on a tree. If you were a kid and you threw toilet paper on a tree, that's kind of what it looks like now. It looks weird. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Eh. Uh, um, am I a digital artist killer? I don't know what that means. Um, um, I also I still try to do traditional stuff when I can, because that's initially what I mean. That's what I learned on was pencil and paper. Because when you're a kid, that's the easiest thing to get a hold of. I'm liking this thing. I just don't know what it looks like. I'm just kind of right now. I'm just kind of just enjoying the process of making the darn thing, even though I don't know what it is. Um, Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's about I try to limit I try to limit my streams to about 2 hours, and we're getting close to the 2 hour mark. Um, so if there's anything you folks would like me to talk about, please do let me know. I can play some more Delver if you folks are interested in watching some more Delver. Um, I can keep noodling on this and seeing where it goes. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, I could try that real quick. I could just duplicate this layer and let's quickly color pick from this guy. And he's just saying make the head more recognizable. More recognizably a snake. Um, bu- 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 Yeah, so Chris says the one on the left looks like a wand. The one on the right really looks like a real snake just on a stick. um, yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. Why not? Let me see where I'm at. So snake, don't need that anymore. That was just for color ref. So I'll call this toilet paper wand. Let's just keep going. I got 15 minutes left. Let's just see if I can crank out another wand. Sometimes I have to try a lot of ideas before I actually find one that I like. Okay. Uh, Again, just gonna, as a base, start off with an existing wand, just so I have roughly the same. Where'd that go? I think I goofed it up. Okay, let's just put that right there. So start off with the right rough size. I could just flip the thing around. Um, Chris is suggesting something stone-like. Yeah, I could just I could just lift some of these colors uh, off this armor and see where that gets me. Kind of this dark armory color. Let me see. Yeah, no, Chris is right. Like sometimes it's just the process like of just like iterating through these things over and over again and slowly getting a feel for what works, what doesn't work. Like I haven't made a new wand in a very long time, so like I'm a little out of practice. So just kind of going through this is useful and kind of maybe even at a sub like a very subconscious level, kind of refiguring out what does and doesn't work. Um, so uh, Guy or uh, Guy 2203 says about bows, having a quiver that can combine the chest plate icon to make armor with quiver so it doesn't take up inventory space. Um, so I'm not quite sure what you mean there. One of the things we need to do with the bows is have better arrow management. Like that is definitely a thing on our list is because right now if you want to stack all your arrows, you have to actually shoot them all onto the ground and then pick them up one by one, which is not great. I have created a bug about that to fix that because I don't want you to have to go through that just to stack your darn arrows. That doesn't make any sense. Um, um, but can you clarify what you mean about the quiver? Killer Haku says he now has a page full of wands, which is it's not such a bad thing. I mean, there are worse things you could have a page full of, you know. So wands are pretty nice and harmless. Uh, this kind of looks like a baby mace almost. Yeah. Um, well, that's true too. Having a HUD element for the bow might be nice, um, because right now, yeah, if you don't have your arrows in your hotbar, you can't see how many you have left. Yep, no, that's another good suggestion, Chris. Thank you. Let's do something like we had this one be brighter and this one be darker. I don't know, just playing around with colors, seeing what I can come up with. Again, this doesn't look super great. I'm not at an epiphany moment yet. What's not great about it? It's just you wouldn't hold something that's shaped like that, right? Because you need something down here for your hand to actually uh, grip onto. So thickening it up a little bit, I think, might help. Um, yeah, that's not as bad. Yeah, it does kind of look like a telescope. Uh, let's make some copies of this and just play around with forms, see what I can come up with. No, that definitely looks like a mace. I don't know. Just having fun with it, hanging out with chat. And we got about 5 minutes here. Don't know what it is. Now it's starting to almost look like a spear, like a partisan or something like that. Um, yeah, no, don't worry, guys. Like it's fine. Like I'm stuck. I'm just working on just kind of just ideas, trying to break through it, not to focus on it too much. Right now, I'm just playing. This might actually be something interesting in its own right. um, it's still like what a if I were to make a spear, let's just run with that since that seems to be where this is going. Maybe it'll be a special item. Who knows? Yeah, no. The engine we wrote is a custom engine, and we do not support uh, geometry destruction. Um, that's just something our engine does not do. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I think Chris is right. I think a level geometry might be a single mesh. Again, that's a Chad question and not necessarily a Joshua question. I'm not super familiar with the actual implementation of the game engine. I'm just more familiar with how to make stuff with the game engine. Um, so it is 2 o'clock right now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. We do have family visiting this weekend, so I do want to spend time with them, in addition to, spending time with my wife and my son. So I just want to thank everybody for showing up and hanging out and just kind of helping me work through this. I really appreciate everyone's support. For those of you who buy the game, that means the world to me. I really appreciate that. That directly supports me. And I also appreciate you folks just coming to hang out with me on my stream. That is a big motivating factor, and I look forward to the stream every week. Sometimes it's more fruitful than others, but I think this is. I mean, I've been getting some stuff figured out, and thank you for, as always, your guys' support. And I will see you next Sunday. Bye.